The number one thing that if you take this seriously and you actually listen to what I'm about to say and you execute in your own life, if you do this, you will be more successful than 99% of people. I have to contain my energy, so first things first is I just want to apologize to librarians because I don't know how to be quiet. I'm just going to apologize in advance. So this is a library, you're supposed to be quiet, that's not going to happen. What's up guys, how you guys doing? Great. How are you guys doing? You guys doing good?
Great.
Okay, cool. So I'd love to get a feel in terms of how many of you guys are in the entrepreneurship class? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you guys are interested in maybe starting your own business one day? Raise your hand. How many of you guys want to be successful in life? Raise your hand. Okay, perfect. There's a few things I want to do today. So first things first, I want to share my story with you guys because I think that if I can talk about where I came from and the environment that I grew up in, and I can show you guys where I'm at now, I think it will empower you, whatever position you're in life right now, whatever circumstance you're starting from, understanding that it doesn't matter where you start. What matters is what you do with what you have. So I'm going to share my story. I'm also going to give you guys 5 laws of success, so 5 principles that I've used in my own life that I still use to this day so that you guys can use that in your own life. And then finally, at the end, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask me questions. Cool? All right, cool. So first things first, I wrote on this board, it says 25 million. If you want to be successful in business, then you need to find people that are doing what you want to do in business and learn from them. If you want to be a successful mechanic, you need to find people that are successful mechanics and learn from them. So whatever field you're trying to get into, find people that have done what you want to do and learn from them. So that's what I've done. I've managed to make $25 million in sales in the last 6 years, and so everything I'm going to demonstrate from these principles reflects that. But I don't want to talk about my success first, I want to talk about my failures. And I'm going to tell you guys where I grew up. So my mom had me when she was 17 years old. I'm the oldest of 5 brothers and sisters. I didn't meet my dad until I was 26. And so when I grew up, I had a lot of adversity because my mom was still a kid when she had me. And so she was still trying to figure herself out. And so she was dating guys that were abusive and she didn't know any better. I didn't understand that I was in a kind of a rough situation because I was a kid. And so, my whole childhood, I was just angry. I was angry at the world for, putting me in a family where I got abused. I was angry at my family because I was the only black person in my family. I was angry at my dad for leaving me and never, coming to tell me that he was proud of me. I was just angry. And I spent a lot of my life angry. I would say up until I was like 23, 24 years old, I was just angry. As a kid, not knowing my dad, I was really confused. I didn't really have a lot of friends because we kept moving from house to house to house. We'd get evicted from one house because we couldn't pay the bills. So it felt like I was making a new group of friends every year. I'd be moving to this elementary school and then this elementary school and this elementary school. So I was honestly a loner. In junior high is when I started to notice girls, right? I didn't even realize they existed when I was a kid. And then in junior high, I was like, oh my God, girls are a thing. But in junior high, I was really self-conscious. I was overweight because my family didn't understand how to train or eat or whatever. And so I struggled with my weight. I struggled with my confidence because my dad wasn't around to teach me how to be a man. My dad wasn't around to teach me how to talk to women. My dad never gave me the birds and the bees talk. So I didn't know anything. I was confused about my sexuality. I was confused about women. I was confused about myself. I just didn't know myself. So I made a decision at some point that it didn't matter where I came from. What mattered is that I didn't want to be there anymore, which leads me to point number 1. The 5 laws of success. Number 1 is never satisfied. I didn't know where I wanted to go with my life, but I knew that where I was at wasn't satisfactory to me. I didn't want to live in the trailer park anymore. I didn't want to be fat anymore. I didn't want to be overlooked anymore. I needed to do something different. And at this phase of my life, when I was a kid, I didn't know what to do to change my life, but what I knew is that I didn't want to be that guy anymore. I didn't want to be the guy that girls didn't look at. I didn't want to be the guy that got picked last for sports teams. I didn't want to be the family that got hand-me-down clothes. I just didn't want to be that guy anymore. So the first law of success is never satisfied. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it's important to be grateful, right? And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I also think that whatever position you choose to take in life, never be satisfied. Like if you're the janitor and you're cleaning floors, then be the best damn floor cleaner that you possibly can, because by doing that, by making the decision that you're not satisfied with the level that you're playing at, that you're going to become better, you're going to get more opportunities. And that applies to you being a floor cleaner, a painter, a hairdresser, a nail salon teacher, anything. No matter what you do, you never want to be satisfied. So for me, I didn't know how to change my life and I didn't know what I needed to do, but I knew that I wasn't satisfied. Wasn't satisfied with the amount of money my family was making. I wasn't satisfied with the level of success that I had. I wasn't satisfied with the direction that my life was going. And so I made a decision that I was going to start working. This phase was really difficult for me because this phase involves a lot of anger. What I mean by this is that I think oftentimes, you don't really get to choose what family you're born into, right? And so I think oftentimes for me, this was my story, is I blame my parents for everything. I blame my parents for not being there. I blame my parents for not, giving me the support I needed, for not having the money to put me in the things that I wanted to do, for not having the money to send me to university. I just blame my parents. And so this thing of like never satisfied, I think at first comes with blame. Like you want to look for somebody to blame. Like I'm not satisfied with where I'm at right now, but it's because my dad did this to me, or it's because my mom did this to me, or it's because I got this going on at home. So like this phase comes with a lot of anger, and sometimes we're also angry at ourselves. We're angry at ourselves for letting ourselves get to this point. But my thing is that like, I want you to never be satisfied, but I also want you to understand, everybody repeat after me, I'm in full control. I'm in full control. Now I want you to say it like you mean it. I am in full control. I'm in full control. Which means that if there's a specific area of your life that you are not satisfied with, then you are in full control. Like if I'm not happy with the way that my body looks, I can literally go to the gym 5 days a week and I can turn myself into a juicy monster in 6 months. This guy did it. Right here. Everybody say hi to Jordy. This guy did it. He did it. He came to my gym. He was not as juicy as he is now, and look at him now. I saw him, I was like, oh my God, you're huge. He just made a decision, right? And so I'm not satisfied with the level I'm currently playing at. I want to hit the next level. And I think that a lot of people, the reason I want to stay here for a second is I think that a lot of people that have talent mess this up. Because if you're naturally gifted at something, you're like, oh, I'm good at math. I don't even need to study. Dude, what if you just study and you got 100% on every test? How many more opportunities do you think you get in life if you did that? Same thing with athletes on the team, right? Like, I was not very good when I first started at sports. Now I'm pretty decent. But when I first started, I had guys that were super talented, but they were satisfied. So they weren't showing up early, they weren't staying late, they weren't asking questions, they weren't watching film. For me, I was never satisfied. So I'm like, I want to become better. So I was the first person to show up to practice. I was the last person to leave. I was the person that was annoying my coach, asking all the questions. I'm not satisfied. And so whatever you want to do, whether that's sports or you want to be successful in school or you want to get a career in whatever it is, never be satisfied and always push for the next level. Repeat after me. Always push for the next level. Always push for the next level. There's a next level for you guys. There's a next level for you guys. And I think that the common belief that most people have is that you're just born into this circumstance and you never get to change it. I just don't subscribe to that. And I believe that God gave me life and I don't want to waste it. I want to step into my power. I want to be my very best. I want to live up to my potential. And I think that part of that is me being able to speak to you guys and understanding like you can do the same thing. Because here's the reality, and I don't like to talk about this stuff, but it's true. The reality of the situation is that 99% of people don't do this. 99% of people don't push themselves. 99% of people don't challenge themselves. 99% of people settle for lives that they're not happy with, for money that they're not happy with, for a partner that they're not happy with, for the status of their relationship. And so any single one of you guys could make the decision that you're going to be the very best version of yourself. That power exists in everyone, but most people never tap into it. Most people never tap into it because they're afraid. They're scared. What if I step into this version of myself and I fail? What if I step into this version of myself and my friends laugh at me? What if I make the decision that I'm going to start going to the gym and all my friends start like mocking me, right? So we're so concerned with other people's opinions that we never just look at ourselves in the mirror and say like, I'm going to be my very best. Number one is never satisfied. You can never be satisfied with the position that you are in life. And I think that with this as well, like, I want to hammer home the point that like, you must be grateful. Like God gave you life. Not only that, but so did your parents. So even if your parents did something that you might not agree with, or you had like a rough upbringing, they had you and they chose to have you and they kept you and they raised you. So never satisfied but grateful. Number two, burning desire. What this means for me is that I want it so bad that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to become successful. I think with burning desire, a lot of people count the cost. They count how many hours they're working, they count how many reps they've taken, they count how many times they've gone to the gym. They're missing the point. Burning desire means I will do whatever it takes to get successful. Burning desire means it doesn't matter how it happens, it's going to happen. Burning desire means it doesn't matter how many years I need to spend manifesting, I will do whatever it takes to get to my dream life. And for me, I think this was like, this is it. It's called will to win. I just want to win. And I don't know how it's going to happen, and I don't know what I need to do, and I don't know what adversity I need to go through, but I'm going to win. Who here knows the story of the gym? Raise your hand if you know a little bit about the gym. Okay, so I have a gym. It's called Aesthetic Nation Gym, and we got illegally shut down 3 months ago. And when we got illegally shut down, I was forced to make a decision. I'm like, well, decision number one, I could just fold my business and just give up. But my burning desire was always to have the best gym in Canada. Or decision number two, I could double down and figure out a way to make the gym open. Now, I didn't know how I was gonna make that happen. And that also cost me $500,000 more than I was expecting. But when you want it, when you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe, you'll find a way. The thing is, like with burning desire, you don't need to know how it's gonna happen. Because the how isn't up to you. The universe is a magical place, all right? If you guys don't believe in God or a higher power, I'm telling you, I hope that my speech today can give you some insight. Because I'm telling you, you just make a decision that you want something and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. You're willing to pay whatever the price, and I promise you, the universe is going to start sending you signals, sending you signs. Like this speech at this school, right? This is what I want to do, y'all. I want to speak, I want to inspire. And the opportunity just literally landed right in my lap. But I want it. I want to be successful. I want the next level. So burning desire. Now here's the thing with burning desire is most people never admit that they want the thing, because when they admit that they want the thing, then they realize they don't have it. And so it's easier for you to pretend that you don't want the thing, because if you pretend that you don't want the thing, you can just focus and you can just continue doing your life pretending that it doesn't exist. And the hard part about burning desire is when you actually admit to yourself, I want to be successful. You know, I want to have my own business. I want to go to university and get this degree. I want to look like this. I want to be jacked. I want to be in shape. I want to be the very best version of myself. When you admit that to yourself, if you're not that right now, then it comes with a lot of responsibility. You're like, okay, I want it, but I don't have it. So what do I need to do to get it? But a lot of people never actually admit that they want something, because as soon as you admit that you want something, then you're accountable for it. Am I right? It's like, I want to be successful. I want to be sober. I want to be healthy. I want to be clean. As soon as I say that to myself, now I'm accountable to those actions. So number 2 is burning desire. Number 3, create a vision. I'm going to share a story with you guys, and I'm going to talk a little bit about where my anger took me. When I was 23 years old, I was bartending at local nightclubs in Calgary. And when I grew up, like, I partied, but my parents always told me, like, don't do drugs. Never do drugs, don't do drugs. And so even in my teenage years, I never really fell into the, like, doing drugs and partying. And, like, this is the honest part of the conversation. Like this is the conversation we need to have. Because I know there's parties, I know there's drinking, I know what happens, okay? And so I didn't think it mattered. I was just letting loose. I was just having fun. I was just doing my thing. 23 years old, the parties got significantly more intense. And I started doing harder drugs. I started getting into like dark stuff. And there was a period of 6 months in time where basically it's like I just, everything that I loved evaporated. I lost my friends, I lost my family, I got my car repossessed, I got kicked out of my house. And I was living on my grandma's couch in her trailer. So one night, I go into the bar, and I'm drinking, partying, doing what I usually do, and the manager calls me into the back, and he's like, why are you doing this to me? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I know you're wasted right now. I know you've been partying right now. I know what you've been doing behind my bar. He's like, you're fired. So 2 things. Number 1 is I can escort you out with security, or number 2, you can walk out on your own. And I was like, I'll walk out on my own. So I walked out. And when I walked out, I called one of my friends who I was partying with at the time, and I told her what had happened. I remember her reaction to me. She was like, you just got fired again? She's like, you need some help. And I'm like, this was coming from somebody that needed help herself. So I'm like, if this person's telling me that I need help, I must really need help. So I kind of like realized in that moment that I had hit rock bottom, and I drove my grandma's car back to her trailer, and I walked through the front door, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and my grandma would always wait up for me when I was doing my stuff. And 3 o'clock in the morning, and I walk through the front door, my grandma's sitting there in a chair looking at me, walking through the front door. And I like look at her, and in that moment, I realized that I had let her down. I burst into tears. I collapsed on her couch. She never asked me what was wrong. She never asked me, what I did. She just went into her room. She grabbed a Bible. She came out. She read me the Bible. She held my hand and she cried with me. I was 23 years old. Now in that moment, I had nothing. Like, my friends thought I was a loser. I was drinking, partying. You know, I got kicked out of my house. My credit was zero because I got my car repossessed. And so I made a decision. And the decision was to create a vision. I was like, my life right now is not where I want it to be. And I've tried and I've tried and I've tried to get success, but I can't seem to make it. I keep falling short of my goals. So I'm gonna make a decision that I'm gonna start dreaming bigger. Repeat after me, dream bigger.
Dream bigger.
I made a decision that I was gonna dream bigger. I wrote down that I was gonna be a multi-millionaire. I wrote down that I was gonna win fitness competitions. I wrote down that I was gonna meet my dream partner. I wrote down that I was gonna be a great father, a great leader for the community. I wrote down that I was gonna inspire youth. And you gotta remember, at this time, I was a nobody, like literally nobody. I was a drug addict, writing my vision on my Microsoft Word document on my computer. And so this, to everybody else, seems crazy. And it should seem crazy. Like, if you share your goals, dreams, and ambitions with everybody, and everybody's like, that's great, go for it, that means they're not big enough. And so I started dreaming bigger. I started dreaming so big that I couldn't share it with other people because I didn't want them to downplay my success or tell me what I can do based on their limitations. But I created a vision, and my vision was all-encompassing. I decided how much money I wanted to be making. I decided what kind of car I wanted to drive. I decided what my wife was gonna look like. I decided what I was gonna look like. I decided what my body was gonna look like. I decided what my character was gonna be. I just made a decision. See, most people live in the past. You know, that you've had a certain set of circumstances that have happened to you, and as a result, you keep going back to them. You keep telling the story of how you got, you were wronged here, and this bad thing happened to you, and this bad thing happened to you. And so you spend your present moment living from the past, living from all the pain and all the trauma and all the heartbreak that you've gone through. And I don't want to take away any of that, because if you've gone through some hard things in your life, like I've gone through some hard things in my life. I've dealt with abuse, I've dealt with addiction, I've dealt with pretty much all of it. And I was living in the past. So I just made a decision that I was gonna start living from the future. Right? And the best way to figure out what your future is gonna look like is to make a decision on what kind of future you wanna have. When I was your guys' age, people were always like, what do you wanna do? And I'm like, I don't know. Right? I don't know. You guys are young, you're still figuring it out. But you can make some overall decisions. The overall decision that you want to be successful, the overall decision that you want to be wealthy, the overall decision that you want to be a good leader, overall decision that you want to be a good person, that you want to have integrity, that you want to have responsibility, that you want to be a good friend to the people that are in your life. Overall decision that you want to be fit, healthy, confident, that you want to show up with energy, passion, and charisma. You might not know where you want to go in your life, but you can still make some decisions on what kind of person you want to be, what kind of character you want to have, what kind of confidence you want to develop. Guys, I was an introvert. So for me coming up here and delivering the speech to you guys, it's funny because I was the computer nerd that would sit on my computer for 8 to 12 hours a day playing RuneScape. That was me. And I transformed my own mind, I transformed my own life, and I made a decision. I want to be confident. I want to be a great speaker. I want to be a great leader. And it all comes down to this. Now here's the thing with vision, right? Is because most people live in the past. They keep talking about the things that have happened to them. They keep talking about the trauma that they went through. They talk about the heartbreak that they had or this person that let them down. And as a result of that, those experiences have such a captivating energy. And it just keeps bringing you back to feeling not good. So with vision, I believe you need to work just as hard on the opposite. I believe that every single day you need to remind yourself of the place you'd like to go. So I start my day every day by listening to my vision video. My wife laughs at it because I can recite it literally verbatim. Recite it verbatim. I know every single word in the video. It's talking about how much money I want to have, what kind of person I am, talking about the kids that we're going to have. Like, I can recite it verbatim. What's that?
I said kids, singular. One.
Kids, twin.
One
We're getting twins. It's okay. We'll talk about it later. But I can recite it verbatim. And because I think most people focus on what's happening right now or the things that are negative in their life, and most people don't think about the place that they'd like to go, or they don't focus on it enough. Like, as an example of the vision, a lot of people believe in creating vision boards. And I think that the flawed part of that philosophy is that most people just create a vision board and then they leave it on their vision board and then they never look at it again. For me, it's a vision board, then it's my phone background, then it's my computer background, and it's the first thing I listen to when I wake up, and it's the last thing I listen to before I go to bed. So I'm always literally programming my mind with the place that I want to go, the destination that I'd like to reach, the type of person that I want to become. And the reason I think this is so important is because I was a nobody. I came from nothing and I made $25 million. Nobody, nothing, living in a trailer park. The only thing that changed is I'm a business coach for personal trainers. So personal trainers want to know, what's my lead gen tactics? What's my sales tactics? The number one thing that if you take this seriously, and you actually listen to what I'm about to say, and you execute in your own life, if you do this, you will be more successful than 99% of people on the planet. I made a decision that I was gonna become a master of my mind. I made a decision that every single day I was gonna show up with positivity. I made a decision that every single day is the best day of my life. Anybody ask me, how you doing? Best day of my life. That's a decision that you can make, right? And because I show up with that energy, because I show up with that charisma, because I show up with that passion, I just get opportunities. When I shake someone's hand, they can sense my energy. They want to give me an opportunity. And so that attitude of like, I'm gonna create a vision of the type of person I want to become, the type of places I want to go, the type of life that I want to live, and I'm gonna live from that is so important. So number 3 is to create a vision. If you guys want some practical things with vision, health, wealth, relationships, and self. Those are the 4 main areas of my life that I like to focus on. I set goals for my health, what I want to look like, how I want to feel, how I want my mindset to be. I set goals for my wealth, how much money I want to be making, what my businesses are doing, what kind of impact I have. I set goals for my relationships, what kind of husband I want to be, what kind of father I want to be, what kind of friend I want to be, and self. I set goals that are just selfish for me, like buying a Lamborghini. Doesn't do anything for my life other than the fact that I wanted a Lamborghini, so I bought one. So health, wealth, relationships, and self. Cool. Number 4 is to be the example. Who here has ever heard the classic saying that you're a result of your environment? You guys have heard that before? I believe that's a fallacy to a certain extent, because I believe that yes, you can be impacted by your environment, and the people that raised you in a certain way, and so you might have certain tendencies. Or, if all of your friends go to the library and study, versus if all of your friends go out and party every weekend, and you hang out with a different set of friends, like I think you're gonna have some different outcomes. However, be the example. Why are you basing your behavior off of what other people are saying? Why are you basing your behavior off of what other people are doing? I be the example. I'm the leader. I decide. And so if my friends are going out drinking, partying, etc., I'm the leader. I'm like, I'm going home at 10, peace. I'm the example. You need to be the example. I think that a lot of people say that they're results of their environments. They say that because it gives them an excuse for not being accountable for their own decisions. I'm the example. Everything that I've done in my life is my fault. All of it. All the success I've had, all the failure that I've had, all of it. But I take full responsibility. And so I'm aware that there are some people in my life that might make some bad decisions, but I don't have to participate because I'm the example. I'm a leader. I'm integral. I'm loyal. I'm honest. I know what my core values are, and I'm not going to compromise that because my friend group is doing a certain thing. I'm the example. And this is the thing with be the example, is sometimes when you're the example, you're ridiculed. Because when you make a decision that you don't want to drink, or you don't want to party, you don't want to go out, or whatever it is, all your friends are like, oh, you're so lame. Right? You're so lame. And you're going to get ridiculed. People are going to make fun of you. But then you're going to get the result, and they're not going to have anything to say. People might make fun of me now, but I'm going to drive away in my Lambo. Go ahead. Make fun of me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Because I know what I want, and I'm going to act how I want so that I can get the result that I want. And your opinion has literally nothing to do with me because it doesn't pay my rent. So be the example. What kind of person do you want to be? And this is the thing, right? Like, I want to talk about my family for a sec. Because my family struggled with obesity and health issues. Everyone in the family struggles. Everyone. And I tried to tell them what to do. I tried to say, you need to change your life. You need to do this. You need to do this. When you tell someone what to do, it's almost like they resist it. I just was the example. I was overweight, and now I'm not. And my family can see that. And when I go to family dinners, they know to cook healthy for me because that's all I eat. I'm not going to eat the unhealthy stuff. I'm the example. And over time, I'm happy to say that there's other people in my family. She's probably going to watch this right now because she's watching the Instagram story video. My sister followed my lead. So my sister's a year younger than me. And a couple years back, I had a hard conversation with her because I have 3 little nieces. And I was watching my nieces get more overweight every time I saw them. And I know that my sister struggles with her weight, but I also know that my sister makes the excuses, it's my parents' fault, it's this fault, it's that. So I had a hard conversation with my sister, and I'm like, yo, this has got to stop because you're passing this on to your kids, and I don't want that. So I'm like, you need to change your life. So because I'm the example, I was able to give that to my sister. Alicia's lost 150 pounds, but the best part about that is all of her kids have also lost weight. That to me is more valuable than anything. And that's because I am the example. Repeat after me, be the example.
Be the example.
Don't follow other people's lead. Be your own leader. And this is the thing with be the example, is when you actually make a decision that you're gonna work on your character, you're gonna be a better person, you're gonna be more integral, you're gonna be more honest, you're not gonna bully people, you're not gonna be mean to people, you're gonna have self-responsibility, you're gonna have self-respect. When you're the example, what will happen is you will start to attract other people that also want that. So like my circle is all people that are the examples. Who knows who Cole De Silva is? Raise your hand. My bald business partner that's really angry on social media. Anyways, he's my best friend. He's the example. Like you can't catch Cole slipping. He's got a 2-year-old son, wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning every single day, does an hour and a half of boxing, 5 days a week, then goes to the gym for an hour and a half, and gets home to say good morning to his kid and his wife before 6:30 in the morning. Be the example. He doesn't follow other people's lead. He also hasn't drank in 3.5 years. And he was a guy that was going out drinking, partying, etc. What I'm trying to say to you is that, yes, you are results of your environment. However, I think sometimes good people just make bad decisions. Am I right? Yeah. Sometimes good people make bad decisions. That doesn't mean that they're bad people, because if I just wrote off everyone that was like partying or drinking or whatever, like I'm writing off myself because I was that guy. I was the guy that was drinking. I was the guy that was partying. I was the guy that thought it was cool. And so my thing is that you can go into these environments and you can just make the decision that you are going to be the example. I don't want to drink that much. I don't want to do all that. And like I respect your decision to do it, but I don't want to. It's not for me. But I love you and I appreciate you, but it's not for me. Be the example. Make sense? Cool. Last thing. Gratitude for life. Guys, how many of you guys have struggled with adversity at some point in your life? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Be honest. Anything in your life, you struggle with anything. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing with human beings, okay? Here's the thing, is that we focus so much on our problems and all the things that are wrong and all the people that have let us down and all the things that aren't going our way that we end up living our entire existence unhappy. We're noticing this that makes us unhappy, and this makes us unhappy, and this makes us unhappy, and this makes us happy. So every single day we're just moping around, walking around unhappy. I don't get it. And I'm gonna tell you why I don't get it, okay? Because even if you're going through the hardest adversity that you could possibly go through as a human being, even if you're going through that, the fact of the matter is, the odds of being a human being is 1 in a trillion. 1 in a trillion. I'm not gonna give you guys the birds and the bees talk, but out of all of the possibilities of all the people that could exist, when your mom and your dad came together, you came out. And here's the best part. This is the part that I love, okay? So let's say you were born, you came out, and let's say you were born 6,000 years ago, okay? Villages are literally getting pillaged by Vikings, and populations are just being eliminated like that because there was war. Like, it was crazy. What if you were born in 1929, right before the Great Depression? Then you had to sit through a world war. One of the hardest times to ever be alive as a human is going through a world war. But the fact of the matter is, you weren't. You weren't born in that time. You were born in the 2000s, okay? And even 100 years ago, so let's pretend that 100 years ago, you wanted to be a painter, right? I want to be a painter, I want to be a musician, I want to be a doctor, whatever. If you wanted to do those things, if you wanted to have access to that information, you'd have to go to a library and study for months, maybe years, to figure out the same amount of information that you can figure out from ChatGPT in 30 seconds. And you guys are alive in that time. It's crazy, okay? So like the fact that you're even alive is a crazy statistic. And the fact that you're alive right now on the timeline of human existence is wild. And the opportunity has never been better to be successful. You can start from literally nothing and become a massive success in a short period of time because of the time that you were alive. How can you not be grateful for that? I can literally make a post on my social media right now that gets seen by 100,000 people. If I wanted to get seen by 100,000 people even 100 years ago, I'd be knocking on doors, trotting around on my horse. It's like hoping that people answer the doors. I can make a post on social media from my phone right now and reach 100,000 people. That's crazy. And we live in that time. There's no war, we're at peace. Like, what's there to be unhappy about? Do you guys realize how many people took their final breath this morning? And you didn't. You're here. You're breathing, you're alive, you're present. And no matter what you're going through right now, the fact is you have hands that work, the feet that can take you on adventures, you got a voice that you can speak with, you've got a brain that you can think with, you got biceps to get juicy. I'm just gonna throw it in there, whatever. Guys, it's incredible. And just the fact that you are alive is a blessing. So I start there. I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that God gave me another day. I'm grateful that for whatever reason on that timeline of history, I was born today. I get to interact with people today. And even when I'm going through adversity, I always have gratitude for life, which is why you ask me how I'm doing at any point, I will always tell you it is the best day of my life. I actually want to break that down because people always ask me, like, why do you say that? I'll tell you why. Because today is the only ever day that we're alive. Today is the only day that we are alive ever. Because yesterday, what is yesterday?
A memory.
Yesterday is a memory that we've all agreed upon, we're going to label as yesterday, of moments like right now that have already passed. So yesterday is just this idea inside of our mind. It doesn't exist. It's not real. The past is simply a memory that exists inside of our consciousness. Tomorrow is an idea in our heads of what future days are going to look like. But tomorrow in itself isn't an actual thing. Because when you wake up tomorrow, are you going to say, it's tomorrow, right? What are you going to say? It's today, right? So every single day is the best day of my life because it is the only day that I ever exist. I don't live in yesterday and tomorrow isn't real. So why would I not make the most of it today? Why would I not seize the opportunity? Why would I not say thank you to the universe for giving me life? Why would I not love up on my people? Why would I not try to be the very best leader that I can possibly be for my community? Why would I not be the best possible husband that I could possibly be for my wife? Why would I not try to lead Haley as much as I possibly can as her stepfather? Why would I not do that? I'm grateful for life. And because I start there, because that's my energy, when I go shake people's hands for business opportunities, they want to do business with me. Because they're like, oh, I feel better when that guy's around, right? That's the decision that you can make. Now, again, I'm not going to force you to make any decisions because you guys are adults. Make your own decisions, okay? You're not adults, you're like mini adults, but whatever. You guys think you're adults. Kind of adults, whatever. But I'm going to share what's useful for me, okay? And for me, it's useful to show up with the attitude of gratitude because I like feeling good. Who here likes feeling good? Raise your hand. Why would you just not make the decision that every single day you're going to feel like that? You can make that decision. And yes, there's going to be good days and there's going to be bad days. There's going to be days where you're anxious. There's going to be days that you're sad. But guess what? You're still alive. You still got hands that work. You pick up weights and go to the gym. You got feet that you can go for a walk with. What's there not to be grateful for? You got a voice you can speak to. I'm sure you guys, who here has a friend that loves them? Raise your hand. You have a friend that loves you. Yeah. Who here has a family member that loves them? Raise your hand. Are you guys joking me? What's there not to be happy about? So I just start there. I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you so much for being alive. Thank you, universe. More, please. I will take more of your blessings. And because that's all I focus on, I'm just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for all the adversity that I go through because the adversity is God trying to teach me a lesson so that I can become the very best version of myself. So when I go through adversity, I'm like, thank you. I will learn this lesson and I will become better. When I get a blessing from God or the universe, I say thank you. Thank you so much. I'll take more of this, please. I receive your blessings. I want some more of that. I'm grateful for life. This attitude will take you farther than anything on the planet, period. So we're gonna do a quick recap and then we're gonna do a Q&A. Brian Mark's 5 laws of success. Number 1, never satisfied. I'm never satisfied with the position that I'm currently in. Even now, don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful for my life. It is awesome, but I want more. I wanna have 2 Lamborghinis, 3 Lamborghinis. I wanna have 10 gyms, 100 gyms. I want everyone to know that Aesthetic Nation Gym is the best gym in Canada. I want more. I'm never satisfied, so I'm grateful for all the things that I have, but I promise you guys, in 10 years from now, I wanna be light years ahead of where I am because I have this attitude. I want the next level, I want growth, I want challenge. Second is burning desire. You don't need to know exactly what you wanna do, but you have to have a burning desire to be successful. I have a burning desire to be wealthy. I have a burning desire to be fit. You must want it so bad that you're prepared to do whatever it takes to get there. Repeat after me, it doesn't matter how long it takes.
It doesn't matter how long it takes.
So many of you guys stop because of the timeline. You go to the gym for a month and then you don't get into shape and you're like, this is too hard. Bro, you need to make the commitment that you're gonna go to the gym for the rest of your life. Promise you guys, if you do that, 3 years, you'll be juicy. Everybody's gonna be talking about you. You need to make the decision that it doesn't matter how long it takes. It could take a month, it could take 6 months, it could take a year, it could take 5 years. I will get success. Burning desire. When you have that burning desire, you guys, you are a magnet to everything that you could want. You become a magnet. Number 3, create a vision. And at your guys' age, you might not know exactly what you want to accomplish in your life, and that's okay. Because you can make a decision on what kind of character you want to show up as. I want to be a good friend. I want to be loyal. I want to be integral. I want to always tell the truth. And so I'm going to fight for those core values, right? And then if I have an opportunity to be a good friend, my friend calls me at 9 p.m. and they're like, I need you right now. Well, my vision says I'm a good friend, so I'm going to pick up that call. How can I be there for you? What do you need from me? How can I serve you? So make a decision on the type of person that you want to be. And if you want, write down a vision for your life. And here's the thing. It's like a lot of people don't do this because they're like, what if it changes? What if I write down this vision and in a year from now, I realize that I don't actually want that thing? It might, but you can always adjust it. And I think having a vision gives you a direction for where you want to go in life. And the best part about this is you can be a nobody, start from nothing, live in a trailer park, and then go to this. It requires no skills. All it requires is you picking up your pen and paper, writing some notes about the things that you want, keeping it to yourself, and telling yourself, this is the type of life that I'm going to live. And you just walk around with that energy every day. You're like, I'm going there. I'm going there. Every single day in your head, you're telling yourself, I'm the one. I'm the one. I'm going to do it. I'm the one that's in my family that's going to make the generational change. I'm not going to pass down these habits to the next generation. I'm going to pass down leadership. I'm going to pass down money. I'm going to pass down wealth. That's me. I'm the one. I just made a decision. I created a vision and made a decision to live through it. Number 4 is to be the example. I get it. You guys are teenagers. There's parties, going out, drinking, whatever. Be the example in those situations. It's not like the people that are drinking and partying are bad people, because sometimes good people make bad decisions. But you can make a decision on how you want to show up in these situations. What type of person do you want to be? If somebody had a video camera and followed you around for 24 hours, what would they see? It's what you do behind the scenes that actually matters. You can pretend that you're somebody over here, but what are you doing behind the scenes? It's what you do in the dark. So like, I try to be bulletproof. I want you to be able to come, no, you guys want to come to the house with my camera, please don't do that. But I want to live a life where it doesn't matter what part of the day you find me, it doesn't matter, you just won't catch me slipping. I'm just not slipping. I am the example. I lead by example. Number 5 is gratitude for life. The odds of being a human being are 1 in a trillion. And the odds of being a human being in this day and age, where you have instant access to the internet, I can make a post and get seen by hundreds of thousands of people, dude. Do you understand the opportunity? Do you understand how crazy it is that I can make a post from my phone and get seen by hundreds of thousands or millions of people? That is bananas, and you guys live in that day and age. Not to mention, anything that you guys want to learn, you can go to ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT, and it's going to teach you instantly things that you would have had to learn from years in the library. But gratitude for life. I'm just grateful to be here. That's the energy. Cool. That's all I got.